has been a very busy Saturday afternoon here in Chicagoland, and we begin with some breaking news. A massive protest that we've been following all afternoon in the Loop. Tens of thousands of people started filling Daley Plaza more than an hour before the noon start time for the No Kings rally, and eventually shutting down streets to speak out against President Donald Trump's policies. We have team coverage. Marissa Sulik and Dave Savini are live along Washington Street with our coverage tonight. Marissa, let's start with you.
Yeah, Joe, we are here literally right outside our CBS studios where we finally saw police. They were trying to prevent some marchers from continuing on with this march even 2 hours after it started, or ended for that matter. And finally, we did see them use a lot of de-escalation techniques to get everyone to finally disperse. But today, if you came to Daley Plaza earlier, you saw tens of thousands of people. They were fed up, they were angry, and they were expressing their concerns about the Trump administration and their handling of deportations and ICE. But the emphasis all day was to keep this nonviolent, keep this peaceful, and to use their First Amendment rights to get this done today. Now, that was the message echoed by the tens of thousands of people here in Chicago and at rallies nationwide. They all came out and gathered to show they will not fall to Donald Trump. Today's rally was organized by Indivisible Chicago and the ACLU, but we heard from prominent Illinois politicians, including U.S. Senator Dick Durbin and U.S. Representative Chuy Garcia, who says Trump is ruling like a king.
There are troops in our cities and ICE in our schools. There's a military parade in our nation's capital today costing taxpayers $45 million.
I see. But none of these people ever objected to the United States of America giving all of this money out to Ukraine. We didn't object to all of the resources that was going to illegal migrants in the United States. We didn't object to all of the USA ID and all of that stuff that was going out, all of the food stamps as fraud and all of this stuff. They objected to the Department of Government Efficiency and people doing audits against the federal government. So anytime that money goes out to a foreign entity, we're okay with it. We don't care if it was for Sesame Street, propaganda, how it is that they're trying to indoctrinate other countries. We spent way more than that than Kamala Harris when she was the border czar. And she was going over to African countries trying to convince them that they need to be embracing the alphabet community similarly to how we embrace it here in the United States of America. But nobody tripped about it. We was all cool. Cool. Okay, well, I guess if that's the case, then it's cool. You know, we're celebrating our military. We don't even trip about this on the Thanksgiving parades. We don't talk about nothing. We throw money away like nothing. But we celebrated our military. That's number one. The second thing is these people don't even know why they're protesting, and they're out there in the streets throwing around American flags. I've seen people in Detroit with upside down American flags. And then they don't even realize who organized this. So you got millionaires and billionaires that is basically playing Matrix with the general public and trying to allow for them. And so you get all of these manufactured flags and all of this. I thought we had tariffs. I thought everybody was concerned about eggs. Now they out there protesting and fighting against what exactly? That's not going to change. Trump is in office. He's just got in office. I don't even think that he's 6 months in. I don't even believe that Trump is 6 months in. I could be wrong about that. So Trump is in office doing his thing, and he's delivering on the promises. These people are walking around, which a lot of it does turn violent. When I was riding by, I'm not going to talk about that part of the day today, but the point is that all over in these crazy places, they are trying to organize. I'm not sure exactly what the goal is, but I am more amazed at the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody, none of these protesters actually asked the pertinent questions of where did the money come from, who's funding it, what is the value of advocating for illegal migrants inside of the United States of America, all of that stuff. Honestly, I was so busy today, super busy doing a lot of content and working in the studio, as you can see right now, but I was super busy and I just couldn't get out. So I thought it would be more conducive and pertinent for me to focus on the things that's happening inside of the studio versus running out there in the streets. But the point is that these people are nuts. These people are crazy. They don't care about nobody but themselves. And I don't know why nobody in their right mind as an adult is not asking the questions.
A country which decided in 1776, no more kings in America. We the people govern.
Senators,
not the kings, we the people govern.
Legislators.
Now, I do want to show that there is still a police presence here at the corner of Washington and Dearborn. Again, we don't see many of the marchers.
What they won't tell you is that many of the neighborhoods inside of Chicago, which is costing them an egregious amount of money, and how they paying police officers, infrastructure, is shutting down cities. Do you know how much it's costing each individual city, and they worried about Trump? And all of these police officers is here to try to stop them from damaging and tearing up everything. And in the neighborhoods, they don't even have no police officers. And the Chicago Police Department is supposedly down more than 2,000 officers.
Marchers here, they're starting to either leave, go home, but again, police are sticking around here. Even Superintendent Larry Snelling is here as well. But even after this rally today, there was a march, and people marched for hours. We marched with them, me and our Dave Savini, who I do want to bring in right now. And this was long. This was a long afternoon for us.
Marissa, it was a long day. We basically walked about 3 hours and did essentially a loop of the loop with the protesters, but it was a peaceful protest. And here's a little sample of some highlights of what we saw.
The images were powerful. No matter where you stood, there was a massive show of force by those exercising their right to peacefully protest, like Chantel Chacon and her family protesting ICE.
Today I'm speaking out for those who feel they can't, for those people who have to stay at home out of fear. I'm speaking.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to be here. They're escapees. They're supposed to be back in their own country.
For those people, I'm speaking for my family. I'm speaking for the people who deserve to have a voice but feel like they can't.
The enormous crowd started gathering around 10 a.m.
I'm standing above the rally here in our newsroom at the CBS Broadcast Center. Take a look out our window. You could see the size of this massive crowd.
Here's what it looked like as we covered it from top to bottom.
So this is kind of what you'd be going through if you were out here right now. That's how
Look at all of these Kamala Harris, Joe Biden voters.
packed it is. Coming through, coming through. Got it, Sam? All right, we're still working our way towards the center of events. We got a bunch of kids here. How you doing, guys?
Look at this dumb indoctrination that they got going on.
Where'd you guys come from today?
Minnesota.
Oh, you came all the way down from Minnesota.
So
Okay.
dumb.
Everyone deserves to be here. Everyone deserves to have a voice. And at the end of the day, we're the land of opportunity.
Why don't y'all go back home?
Chantel?
Why don't these people go back home? Just go home. You can't turn our United States of America into where you came from. Go home, fam.
Chacon says she came here from Berwyn, and she, like many others, said they thought it was a well-run event. Live from Daily Plaza, Dave Savini, back to you.
At least they
Joe,
didn't,
it looks like there's more police officers out right here.
They
now.
don't have to worry about ICE there because at these quote unquote peaceful protests, which many of them weren't, we know that Chicago is a sanctuary liberal city, and so we really focusing on Los Angeles right now. We're not really focused on Chicago.
Then there are protesters. So everything is safe. It's calm. It's peaceful. Let's hope it stays that way.
No doubt, Dave. Thank you. Marissa as well. With crowds starting to thin out, public transit is getting back to normal. The CTA says buses have.
So, Chicago is a small sample of what's been happening all across the United States of America today with the whole No Kings protest. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do y'all think that it makes sense for them to be able to do what they're doing? Or do you think that it makes more sense for us to focus more on what's happening inside of the United States of America? I love you. I appreciate y'all. Can't wait to read y'all comments.